Hey friends, welcome back to Acre Homestead. My name is Becky, and today what we're gonna do is a bunch of garden stuff and maybe some canning. I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna do today. It's gonna kind of be a day in the life. So today's September 18th and we haven't had rain here. I live in zone 8B, Southwest Washington, and we haven't had rain. Really, it's sprinkled twice since March. And we're supposed to get 1.5 inches of rain between tomorrow and the next day. And thankfully, that got pushed off a day because it was supposed to actually happen today. So yesterday what I did is I went out, this is a 30-quart stainless steel bowl, and I harvested a ton of tomatoes. There are a few more tomatoes out there, but there's actually, there are a few more tomatoes out there, and I actually harvested this beautiful cauliflower, and it's starting to split just a little bit, so it's ready to harvest, and I'm gonna make this for dinner tonight. We're gonna have mushroom curry. I'm not, my husband is. I'm actually gonna go hang out with some friends tonight, but I'm gonna prep him some dinner. And it's one of the freezer meals that we did, and I've got a bunch of garden produce. I harvested this and then some cabbage that we'll put in there, but there's some other things in the garden that need to come out. All my pumpkins need to come out, and there's seeds out there that we got to get. I have a ton of black beans that need to be shelled, and those are just outside, and I can't have them outside. I don't want the moisture out there, so we got to get those shelled. First, we're going to go to the post office. This right here is my dues. I'm going to become a member of my county's bee association. So we're going to go to the post office, and then I think I might have some stuff in my P.O. box. Then we're going to run to the grocery store because last weekend, I actually chopped up a ton of onions and peppers to make salsa, but I never got around to making the salsa. So we have to do that either today, tomorrow I'm taking the day off. So we're gonna either do it today or I'm gonna do it Sunday. Tomorrow I'm going thrifting with my mother-in-law and my sister-in-laws, and I'm giving myself the day off. So post office, grocery, we gotta pick up cilantro and more canning jars. No, we don't need canning jars because we're gonna do them in quart size, so never mind. So just cilantro. I have some cilantro out there, but definitely not enough for how much salsa we're making. And I'm gonna put salsa ? I don't know. But if I put it on the list, it'll be a goal that we'll try to get to. Oh, I want to get some mums for my front porch so we can start decorating it for fall, because I already have one pumpkin out there, and I'm actually going to put a lot of my winter squash out on the front porch to look cute. You know what? I think this is probably enough stuff, because when I get out into the garden, I know that I'm going to spend more time out there, and I just need to give myself grace, and this is what I'm going to put on the list. So if we get all of it done, awesome. If we don't get it all done, no problem at all. We'll just pick up where we left off. Oh, I need to put down here, make dinner. I'm gonna put that on here so that I'm gonna make dinner for my husband so that I can just cross it off, make dinner. Let's go to the grocery store, let's go to the post office, and let's start getting things done. Just hang out with me, and it's gonna be a fun day. I'm here at Fred Meyer, which is our local Kroger, and I am not a couponer. I don't coupon, but I've talked about this in the past where you get these like marketed coupons to you. I haven't gone grocery shopping I did my Azure haul last month, and then in July I did my last Walmart pickup, because with the food that I have on hand and the garden, I haven't had to go grocery shopping. So there are a couple things on here that I'm going to pick up since I have a coupon and I'm running in anyway. One of them is cilantro, which that's on my grocery list is cilantro. So I'll show you what I get when I come out of the store. So I just ran to Costco. I didn't buy any groceries. I just treated myself to a latte freeze. I figured since today is kind of a busy day, I was driving by and I was like, you know what? Treat yourself. So I just got home and I just set everything out in my car because I figured it'd be a little bit easier, and I'm going to show you my grocery haul. Some fantastic deals. I did spend a little bit more money than I was expecting to. First off, I got some tortilla chips because they were like $1 off, I think. And then here are some Frosted Flakes. I bought 5 boxes because if you bought 5 boxes, then they were on sale for $1.50. And they're normally $2.50, I think, but I had a free coupon for a free one. The reason I got these is because this is what my husband's go-to midnight snack is. Well, he switched to ice cream, and I don't like Frosted Flakes, but I like ice cream, so I've been eating his midnight snack, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm hoping he switches to these because he's been out of these for a little while. And then I got a gallon of whole milk, which was $1 off, and this was actually on sale for $4.99, so I got it for $3.99, which is a great deal for a gallon of organic milk. I don't need this right now, so I'm going to throw it in the freezer. You can freeze milk easily. You don't need to empty anything, just throw the whole thing in the freezer, and it thaws beautifully. Not very exciting. I just needed tape because my envelopes that I had, the stickiness is broken on them because they're so old because I never mail anything. So I got that. CoverGirl, this is what I've used for mascara basically since I started wearing it. It was $1 off. My chocolate was $1 off. Now this is the best deal of the day. See, I had to tape the back of my envelope, which now I'm looking at this, and I went to the post office and I didn't even mail my envelope. Shoot. I love these bars. I don't usually buy them unless I have a coupon because they're $2.50 each, but they had, if you bought 5, they were 99 cents each. I've never seen these at that price, so I bought 20 of them actually. And then I had a $2 off coupon if you bought 2 of them. So I bought 20 of them and I got $2 off, so I got them for $18 total. So if I had bought these at the regular price, I would have spent $50 for all of these. So I bought all that they had and I got 20 of them for $18. I cannot believe this. I don't eat these very often, but I like to keep one in my purse so that I don't get tempted to like go through a drive-through or anything like that. And then I bought some carbonated water. I have not been buying this because just to save money, but they had, it was the Kroger brand, which I actually really like the Kroger brand seltzers, and it was 4 for $11, which is a good price, and I wanted to buy it. And we're gonna just set this right here, and we've got our pumpkin that I already grew. And then when I go out to the garden and harvest a bunch more pumpkins, we are going to decorate the front porch quite a bit more. I need my 30-quart bowl to go outside to harvest with. So what I'm doing is I put a towel down to protect my table, and we're gonna get these tomatoes on here. Alrighty friends, one of the big reasons why I wanted to get out here and harvest my winter squash is I came out here and I was like, wow, this spaghetti squash isn't attached to the plant anymore. It must be ready. Well, a deer came by and ate it. And I turned it over and was pretty disappointed to find that. This spaghetti squash is planted in my sweet potato bed, and I can see that deer have come by and kind of mowed the top of the leaves off the sweet potatoes. I don't know much about it, but I don't think that's gonna harm the sweet potatoes too much because they're underground. But I have 3 more spaghetti squash that are ready to be harvested. And so this plant I think is basically done. There's a couple ways you know your spaghetti squash is done and hardened enough to be harvested. Is one, if this first little tassel right here, right off the fruit, is brown, then you know you can harvest it. The second is if you take your thumb and you push into it and you don't get an indent. Well, I'm getting a little bit of an indent on this, but I just felt this one right here and there's no indent. You can still harvest this, you just need to let it cure, meaning put it by a sunny window and let it continue to dry out. You're wanting the outside skin to harden so that it's shelf stable. I actually have spaghetti squash in my pantry that I grew last year, so we need to start eating that. But this is just gonna go inside. I know that this one's ready, and then I have one more. Let's do the fingernail test on that one. And this one's good too. When you're harvesting your winter squash, you do also wanna make sure you leave a nice long stem. A longer stem, the longer the shelf life. You don't want to cut it right to the base. That could encourage molding. So we're going to put this in the wheelbarrow. This is how gardening can save you money. These 3 spaghetti squash, completely free. I did not plant them. I did not buy these seeds. They planted themselves. So this is pretty awesome. I really like how that squash was right at the corner of my sweet potato bed and the squash grew out. I'm going to make note of that for next year. I'm probably going to plant some potatoes or sweet potatoes with winter squash next year. And I'm going to plant this winter squash on the corners of the beds because those can vine out and the potatoes can grow in the main bed. I think that that is a great way to maximize your garden space. Let's just go right here. I have some pea seeds that we need to harvest. So we got a lot of those to get to. I'm sitting on it. I do have a little box here that I want to keep my pea seeds separate. So we're going to put the seeds right in here. I think I'm gonna go ahead before I do that, pull out the spaghetti squash plant though, because the plant's done. There is one more little squash on it, but it's September 18th today and there's no way it's gonna harvest. There's no way it's gonna ripen by the time our first frost is. My new favorite thing is composting in place. So I'm gonna take these plants, lay them right here. This is my potato bed and I'm gonna let these break down and compost in place. I'm gonna unbury my hose. And that's how it can be really easy to compost. See how perfectly dry they are? These are peas that are completely ready to be harvested. Oop. And we can use them as seed for next year. This was not something I was planning on doing, but I'm basically turning a garden fail, meaning not harvesting produce at its ripeness, and turning it into a let's use it for next year and hopefully try again next year. You might hear or see the chickens in the garden. My garden is not done, but it's getting close to it. And my chickens have been in their coop for the majority of this summer because I didn't want them getting the young tender plants. Well, now I'm sharing my garden with them and I'm letting them out a little bit. What they really like to do, you can see they're doing that there and there and there, is they like to dig right up next to the bed because the water comes out, and I think bugs like to live right up under the wood chips right next to the bed. So all along my garden right now, because they've been out for 3 days, there's these big divots right there, and I just think it's too cute. While I'm here, I'm gonna try to harvest as many of these ripe tomatoes as I can. My cherry tomatoes have taken off since I stopped pruning them. I am not gonna prune my cherry tomatoes next year like I did this year. I was way too heavy-handed, and I think that stunted their growth. I also have a Dr. Witchy's tomato in here. I found a couple potatoes when I was pulling the peas off. Oh my gosh, these chickens give me too much joy. Too much joy. She just unpeeled this one. If you guys don't have chickens, I highly recommend it. They're actually really easy. Are you living your best life? This is one of my prized pumpkins. Can you see the size of this thing? This was the first pumpkin to start turning orange. It's the largest pumpkin. Well, no, it's not the largest pumpkin. I forgot I have another pumpkin. The tassel's dead. It passed the fingernail test, and we're gonna go ahead and cut it. I'm gonna leave a long stem here. Oh. This is almost emotional. I can't believe I grew this pumpkin. It's kind of silly that I'm getting a little emotional about this pumpkin. This is crazy. Oh! Let's see what else we can find. I can already see pumpkins all over here, or winter squash, I should say. Let's just set that guy there. I'm gonna start piling up some of the vines that need to be composted. Let's get this one here too. I like the stem on this one. This one is a much rounder pumpkin. This is perfect. This is so freaking cute. I love this little pumpkin, and I cannot believe we grew these together, you guys. I did a whole video on like gardener's doubt because I got so extremely stressed out when I planted this winter squash bed, and it's done so well. I just harvested my first butternut squash that I've ever grown. Now I think the biggest pumpkin in the garden is right over there. Do you see that little bit of orange that's poking out over there? That, I believe, is the big daddy of pumpkins in here. So let's go get it. Do you guys see this thing? I absolutely love it. I've been waiting all year to harvest these cute little pumpkins. I cannot believe how cute they are. Here's a Cinderella pumpkin. I have another Cinderella pumpkin right here. This one has a really cool stem. Sturdy. I've been really happy with the squash that's been growing outside the beds on the wood chips, because this stays a lot drier as opposed to the beds. When the squash is on the bed, there's irrigation on the bed, and so the squash is getting wet every time the sprinklers turn on. So I'm really liking the idea of the squash actually growing outside of the bed. I'm pulling all the winter squash plants up that I've cut the squash off because they're done. I'm gonna leave this zucchini plant because I want this to have a lot more breathing room now that it's gonna start raining, because powdery mildew is starting to become a thing. So we're just gonna pull these up here. Look at the roots on that. I have 2 more Cinderella pumpkins here from that one plant. So far I've harvested 4 Cinderella pumpkins from one plant. These are the small ones. In a different harvest video, I harvested the really big one, the one that was sitting by my front porch. I'm pulling and I'm pulling on this plant, and I didn't realize this plant had something on it. I don't know what this is. This might be a sweet meat, or I think a blue Hubbard. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look this up. The tassels weren't completely dry, so probably wasn't supposed to harvest this quite yet, but I had already pulled the plant up because it was entangled in with the Cinderella pumpkin. So let me show you something cool on it though. That is an imprint of a mushroom right there, which is kind of pretty. I'm taking the vines and I'm gonna have them compost in place right there. No need to put them to a compost pile. This is a sugar pie pumpkin that I just harvested. Let's get peppers and herbs here. We've got all sorts of different kinds of herbs in here. We have basil. It's getting surprisingly warm out here. These are jalapenos. These tomatoes here are stunning. They're black and they're supposed to be red on the bottom. That's my first ripe one right there. I don't think I'm gonna plant these next year because this is the first one I've gotten, and it's September 18th. And there's all these tomatoes on it, but none of them except this one have ripened. I take that back. I just harvested this many of them. They are stunning. I still don't know if I'm gonna grow them again next year. These are heirloom orange strawberry. This is my second pepper bed. Let's get these harvested. No, 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 no. No. So I did decide to pull up all the vines that don't have anything growing on them. I just piled them up on the bed that they were in to let them compost in place. That's one thing I learned from last year. Squash plants decompose super, super quickly. And then I have a lot more plans when I actually put these garden beds to bed for the winter. But this is just the start. So when we get to that, I'll bring you along. What I'm gonna try to do is actually prep the beds for next year so that when it's time to plant, I can just plant the things right in the ground and I'm not gonna have to prep them like I did this year. but we'll see how much energy I have once we get to that point. We're gonna collect some more seeds right here. These are sugar snap peas, I believe. I am gonna have to go back and check my old videos to see exactly what type of peas I have planted and then collecting the seeds from, because I don't exactly remember. And that's one of the main reasons why I started this YouTube channel, is because I don't write anything down. And so I can go back and document it myself. I just used some sticks to hold these up. Nothing fancy here. Now, I didn't read anything about how to collect seeds, like pea seeds or anything, but I'm assuming it's the same as like a black bean, is that once they're just dry, then they're ready. There is a beautiful book on seed saving that I've seen go around the internet, and I probably should buy myself that book. I'll link it down in the description. I don't even know the name of it. But seed saving was not something I was planning on learning or doing this year. I just failed at harvesting all this stuff, so I figured I might as well harvest these seeds. And then what I can do is when I get that book for myself, I'll go back and read, and I'll see if I did it right. Sound like a good plan? Sounds like a good plan to me. I tend to jump in, both feet, don't do much research. I just go for it. That's one thing that I am the opposite of my husband. My husband researches everything, which I love about him. I appreciate that so much, because I don't. I actually find that too tedious, and I hate doing that, so I would never get anything done if I did that. We help balance each other. If we are gonna make a big purchase, I always appreciate the fact that he does so much research, because he'll research what's the best one and all that stuff. And so what I do is I kind of move things along, and he makes sure that, you know, it's researched and we get the right thing. I had to go outside to charge my camera just a little bit. And these little fluffy butts work their way from, the garden is back here. Now this area is a disaster. I haven't done any sort of like landscaping or maintenance on this at all. And they've worked their way into the actual backyard. I just don't want them getting on the patio, because I don't want to have to clean up their mess. I haven't done anything with this year. It's such a disaster. See, I don't do it all. There's been no landscaping done in this bed at all this year. This was beautiful last summer, but this summer it's gotten out of control. Proof, I can't do it all. What I want to do now is harvest some flowers. I've been really bad about harvesting my flowers that are in the garden. They're absolutely stunning, and I've been enjoying them outside, but I haven't brought one bouquet in, which is crazy, because last year I made these beautiful bouquets. I guess I just haven't had the time, but today we're making it a priority to harvest some flowers. I had zinnias in here that are perfectly ready to pick. There's some that are way over, like obviously this one and that one, but I have some in here that, like this one, it's ready and it's gonna be perfect. Now I have one thing I want to show you over here. Along my tomato trellis, I wanted to plant my zinnias here so that it'd be on both ends, and I'm definitely gonna do this more next year. I'm gonna plant you see right there? I don't know if you can see it. There's a bunny. I share my garden with bunnies, and that's okay with me. These were all Dollar Tree zinnia seeds. I've actually saved quite a few seeds this year, but on this plant, oops, I just picked that one. On this plant, there are white flowers and these pink flowers. Is that something that happens to zinnias? Let me know, because I don't know anything about them. I watched Flower Hill Farm, and she does this wiggle test to make sure they're not floppy anymore. Like this one obviously is floppy and it broke itself, but that one looks ready. Do that. Let those compost in place. That one looks like it's a little past its prime. That one looks good. My sister gave me this really cool teapot. It's like one of those blue camping looking ones, and I want to put the bouquet in that. harvesting some lemon basil. On Flower Hill Farms, she uses that as a greenery filler, so that's what I'm gonna do. A lot of them have gone to seed, so I'm trying to find the really younger ones that haven't actually seeded, because those will just fall off in the vase. Well, I think that turned out absolutely stunning. We've got a winner. Next year's goal is going to be to harvest a bouquet at least once a month. I should say once a week, because I'll have plenty of flowers in here to do that. There's no reason why I shouldn't. I mean, this would cost me what, maybe $20 at the store or farmer's market? How pretty. So we need to bring this inside and all this stuff inside, and we need to go decorate our front porch. This is going to take me a second to get this inside. So I'm starting to like this. I've got my mom here. I took the Christmas pillow, turned it around so it's not a Christmas pillow anymore, and I just put it over there. So I don't really want to spend money on pillows right now. It was worth getting the mum and the pot. I think I might put here one of the blue pumpkins. Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? We're gonna eat all this. Well, we might not eat the jack-o'-lantern pumpkins depending on if we decide to carve them. Typically we do a painting party, we paint our pumpkins, but we'll definitely eat this, and we'll definitely eat this. So we'll have a lot of recipes to come, but first I get to decorate with them. This is an old wood around here that used to be an end table, and I thought it would be cute out here to decorate. This makes my heart happy. You will not believe what I just did. I was in my pantry and I was getting rice out of a 5-gallon bucket because I was out inside, and I was going like this to carry it, and I spilled tons of rice down in my Instapot. I'm trying to get my husband, oh my gosh, there is rice everywhere. I'm trying to get my husband's dinner ready. I hope I didn't just break my Instapot. When I shake it now, I don't hear any rice. That just about put me over the edge. That was actually pretty easy, but one thing I've started recently is anytime I make rice, I shred a whole zucchini into it. You can't even tell it's in there. It's a way to, one, use up zucchini because they come in like crazy right now, and two, a little extra nutrients. So when I do this, I just add about a 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup less water because there's a lot of liquid in this. I just put the curry on the stove and got a bunch of vegetables, and we're gonna chop these up, wash them up, and get them in the curry. I harvested the cabbage and this cauliflower yesterday. This is probably the smallest cabbage ever. Cauliflower, you really want to wash it well because in all the florets you get a lot of bugs, and so it's kind of gross if you don't give it a really, really good wash. In less than 15 minutes, I have a beautiful homemade curry and rice cooking And that is because I do freezer meals and it is so helpful. If you want this recipe for this curry, it'll be linked down. It's on scratchpantry.com, but I'll link the recipe down below. If you wanna watch me make this curry, it's in my last freezer cooking video. And what's gonna happen is I'm just gonna let this cook on low on the stove. I'm gonna put the lid on it. The vegetables are gonna wilt down probably by half. And that's how I like to do my curries. I just throw in whatever vegetables I have on hand. And so it could be different depending on what's coming out of the garden, or if it's not garden season or whatever I have in the freezer or whatever. I'm gonna put the lid on it, and that is dinner. And one thing I didn't do this morning, which I'm a little irritated about myself, is I didn't unload the dishwasher. That's one thing I'd like to start my day with, because now I do have dishes just from chopping. It's not a lot of dishes, just a knife and a cutting board and the colander. But my dishwasher is full of clean dishes, so that means I have to unload the dishwasher before I can load it. So that is why I always like to start my day with an unloaded dishwasher, but it doesn't always happen. There's no way I'm getting to salsa today. That is gonna be a Sunday project. I'm gonna put Sunday salsa. What I'm gonna do now is go out and I'm gonna shell the black beans and the peas. I got the kitchen tidied. Let's see. I got my 30-quart bowl emptied from all the tomatoes and peppers, and that table looks stunning. We have a wheelbarrow still full of apples, a wheelbarrow now full of winter squash, and 2 tables full of tomatoes. I got the basil in the dehydrator. This here, I have a bowl back there, are all the black beans that have to be shelled. Instead of taking each individual pod and trying to peel the seed out, like that, because that takes a long time, I can break the pods apart by just scrunching them and the seeds will fall out. Go. Good girl. Go. 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 Move it. Stay up there. We're getting down to the bottom of this bowl here. And now I gotta go pull all those other pods off the plants. I still have to clean all the plant debris off, but this is a good start. So we got this cleaned up, and then I thought it would be cute if I set those 2 pumpkins right there. Come on, Gizmo, we gotta go inside. And I've kind of picked everything up. Go. So it is 6 o'clock. What time is it? Yeah, it's 5:55. And I am meeting friends at 6:30. So that gives me 15 minutes to get freshened up before I have to go. Let me show you what we have. I obviously did not get all of the seeds out of here, but a big deal is getting them out from outside because it's gonna rain and be humid, and the last thing you want is your dry seeds to be sopping wet once they've dried. You can see how the vegetables have cooked down. This is exactly what I want, and it gets nice and, saucy. I'm gonna turn this on 1.8, which is basically keep warm. My husband should be home any minute, well, probably in the next like 15 minutes or so. So if I leave and this is still on the stove and it's keep warm, I'm not really that worried about it. Our rice is perfectly cooked. We have our basmati rice here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. That was super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a ton of fun and I got a lot of stuff done. I didn't get everything done on my list, but I got a lot of stuff done. And tomorrow I'm gonna take the day off. I'm just gonna enjoy hanging out with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, and we're gonna go thrifting. I'm not gonna film because I have so many videos already filmed that I need to edit, but let me know if you'd like to see a thrift with me because I think it would be super fun. I appreciate every single one of you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. It's super fun when we get to do all these things together and we get to accomplish so much. If you guys are new and you enjoyed this video, there will be videos that will pop up here that you could go watch if you'd like, or consider subscribing. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye, guys. It looks like I cut my lip. I think I scratched myself on some of the winter squash vines, but I'm kind of a mess. Now I only have about 8 minutes to get cleaned up before I have to go. Wish me luck. See you next time. Bye, guys.